You gotta keep on breathing if you wanna make sense of it all. We will not fall.
Let us start seated. Comfortable seat, whatever that is for you, whether you're sitting cross-legged or butterfly. And just flip the palms over, palms face up. Just relax the fingertips, soften through the palms. Relax into the wrists. Let the elbows soften to become a little bit heavier. Start to relax through the shoulders, into the throat and the facial expression. And then take a nice deep breath in from the earth to the crown. And a nice slow deep exhale. Sigh it out. And let any tension go. Take that breath in once more, earth to crown. And sigh it out, exhale. And just breathe normally. In and out through the nostrils. And just allowing your focus to settle on your breathing. Just observing, no criticism, no judgment. And throughout the practice, you may wish to close the eyes or keep the eyes open at any point. Closing the eyes brings the focus inwards, takes away distraction, so you might have already closed the eyes now. And if you have, just soften the area around the eyelids, around the temples, around the third eye. And all we need to do here is just allow the breath to flow easily and freely. Taking a moment to check in with yourself as to how you feel today. Mentally, emotionally, and physically, of course. Giving yourself a little body scan from the crown of the head right down to the toes. As you give that body scan to yourself, relax areas of tension that you may be gripping or holding onto. Feel them release. Continue to breathe out, letting go, and soften. Letting go of the effort. And just a little reading to start our practice together today. Start your day with an open heart and fresh eyes. Today has no mistakes in it. Embrace the clean slate by breathing in this present moment of newness, of potential, of possibility, and of hope. Nothing but what is happening right now matters. Yesterday is over, and today stands before you without expectation. Take a moment to find an intention for yourself, one of gratitude and of thanks for this day. As you have the power to choose the energy that you bring into your day. bringing those words into the forefront of your mind for your practice today, taking it as it comes to you today. Start to bring in some movement into the thumbs and the fingers, moving all of the knuckles, giving them a little wiggle, squeezing the fingers into the palms and then stretching out. Notice how that affects the wrist, the forearm, the rest of the arm. And then take that into the wrist as you gently circle and rotate out. Circle the other way. And then give the hands a little shake out. Shake the wrists. Lift the arms up above the head, interlace the fingers and press the palms away from you. You might lift the gaze here, looking up towards the knuckles. And notice if you need to stretch the elbows here or if you need to keep them bent, but feel the stretch all the way from the hips, right up to the armpits, up to the wrists. Lift a little longer. Lift, 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 keep breathing. And then release, flip the palms around and push the knuckles out in front of you as you gently soften the spine, rounding it out. Drop the chin to the chest, let the head become heavy, soften through the shoulders. Keep pushing those knuckles away. Deep breath out as you curl through the spine, sucking the belly into the lower back. Nice and gently release the hands and then lift the knees together. Bring the soles of the feet in front of you, sitting nice and tall. And just feel the sit bones grounding you here. Spread out the toes, make sure the toes aren't gripping and pulling back. And the knees don't have to be too close to the body, but just a nice light bend here. Drawing in the navel, relaxing the shoulders. And then let's introduce a little teepee twist here. So taking the right hand to the outer left knee. Opening up the chest, maybe taking the gaze back again, always following this flow of easiness through the breath. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to deepen. And breathing in, bringing yourself back through into center. Take the left hand to the right knee. Opening out the chest to the side of your mat. Again, softening through the chest and the shoulder there. Maybe taking the gaze back towards the back of your mat. Whilst you're breathing, just feeling everything that the body's experiencing, any sensations as you move from left to right. Gently pulling that navel in towards the lower spine. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to deepen. And inhaling, bringing yourself back through the center. Soles of the feet come together. And just gently rock yourself forward. You can gently press the chest. So just notice here what happens into the hip flexors, what happens in the outer hips. Keep trying to keep the spine nice and long and lengthened. You're not forcing these presses. You're just letting the body rock itself forwards. And then holding the elbows out by the knees and press the chest towards the feet. Gaze looks just in front of the toes, lengthening the neck, lengthening the spine. Breathe out, press. And from here, again, we'll take this into a little forward fold and a nice softening through the back, rounding, dropping the head down towards the heels. Gently pulling that navel in towards the lower lumbar section of the spine. Slowly and gently roll up through each and every vertebra of the spine. Come back into that upright position. And the hands come back behind you. Fingertips face forward. You're going to roll the shoulders, opening the chest, pulling those elbows in towards one another, lifting up. Try not to get the ears close to the shoulders here, but lengthen the ears away. And maybe you're on the fingertips, maybe you're on full palms, maybe the fingertips are a little bit out to the mat, that's okay. But through this, we are pushing the knees down, lifting the heart center. Again, noticing the breath in each of these postures. It may change. Feel a stretch through the front body and then bring yourself back through the center. We lift the knees, we send them long, give the legs a little shake out, and then just move into the ankles, flexing and pointing and circling. So rotations through the ankles, just as we did through the wrists. This time we'll take a side stretch into the lateral side of the body. So left hand goes out to the side and right arm lifts up. Keep that right buttock cheek grounded as much as you can. It's not about getting closer to the floor and lifting that cheek up, pulling that right cheek down. Open the rib cage, barrel it to the sky. Reach those right fingers further. Again, noticing the breath. And then breathe in. Press yourself back up. Let's take that to the other side. So right hand goes out. Keep lifted through that right side. Lift up. Try not to lift that left buttock. Pull it down, ground it. Back into center. Good, let's swing those legs around behind us. Come into our tabletop position. Wrists are under the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Find that neutral place through the spine. Crown of the head reaches away. Lifting up the abdomen and then start to go into our cat and cows from here. So starting on the inhale, we go into our cow, dropping the belly, arching through the spine, pushing away through the mat. Exhaling, rounding, again, each and every vertebra into cat. Slow, steady, controlled. Getting that mobility through the spine. And nice and slowly, just widen the knees. Bring the big toes to touch and soften yourself back into a child's pose. Make this relaxed. Doesn't have to be forced. Just take your time to get in there. Move the hips left and right. Maybe the hands support the head. Maybe they reach out in front of you. Maybe you use a block. Soften here, relax the belly, relax the chest, soften through the shoulders. Notice any tension that you might be holding in the buttocks or the hips. And then let's bring ourselves up and let's get a bit more mobility. So, lizard pose, bringing our right foot forward, using those blocks should you need to. That right foot faces forward, it's on the outer edge of your mat, dropping down through the hips and just pulling the navel in here, not letting the navel hang out, pull it back in, lengthening down through the spine and the tailbone. And then gaze is just kind of in front of the mat. Maybe the back toe is tucked, maybe it's relaxed. It's good, looking good. And if you like, you can drop down a little bit further. Maybe you're on those blocks, maybe you're on fingertips, palms, or even forearms. Let's see how we go. Just soften into this. Give this as much heaviness as you like here. We're going to gently pull the hips back in line with the knee, and then dig that front right heel in, pulling those toes back. So that heel is still on the outer edge of your mat, coming into our half splits. And then just gently reach those fingertips forward and exhale into the fold. Let the chin drop down towards the chest. You might need to be bending that right knee here. That's okay. You can soften through there, but try to keep that heel digging in and pulling those toes back towards the shin. From here, we move into a gate pose. So we're actually going to turn sideways onto the mat. So if you're on a hard surface, be careful of that left knee. We're going to kickstand that left knee around and then gently turn our right leg to the side of the mat, coming into Parigasana gate pose. So shoulder, hip, knee lifting up and reach it over. We start getting into this lateral stretch of the side body here. And finding the breath nice and easy. Bring yourself back into center. The hands gently come down to the mat and you walk the hands forward and long. Keep the long spine here and then bring the forehead down to the mat or again onto a block. Blocks fill space between us and the earth. Try to keep the stability through the pelvis here. So this right hip isn't lifting up too much. Dropping down through that right hip and the right shoulder. Pressing into the left foot, left ankle. We're trying to keep high over that left knee as well. Good. Start to gently walk those hands back. We turn back towards the front of our mat. Be careful of that back knee. Coming into tiger pose. So hands come down, sweep that right leg all the way back around and open out that hip here. Pull the heel into the buttock, lift the chest. Maybe this is enough. And then reach the left arm back, maybe grabbing hold of the toes or the foot. Lift up, press away through left shin, right palm. Give yourself a big smile, you're doing great. Nice and slowly release. And yes, we do all of that on the left. So left lizard first of all. Foot is facing forward, dropping down nice and gently, using hands or blocks. Pulling navel gently back, lengthening spine, lengthening tailbone. Remember that right toe can be tucked or relaxed. Gaze just a little bit forward of your mat there. And as we switch to the other side, we just notice any different sensations. Maybe you come down onto the forearms, that's okay too. So we're going to pull back into those half splits. So again, digging in that front heel, you might need to lengthen it out a little bit. Create space between the belly and the thigh, reaching the fingertips forward, exhaling into the fold here, softening through that left knee if you need to. Releasing, giving in, letting go of the effort, trying not to fight with yourself, fight with the posture. And then let's gradually move that into the gate post. Sorry, you're gonna have my back to you. So swiveling around on that right knee, moving that left foot into place. Coming up and again stacking knee, hip and shoulder in alignment, lifting up right arm, reaching all the way over to the left leg. Nice deep breath out as you reach a little bit further towards the ankle. And then I think I will actually turn around for this one. This is our forward fold. So we're going to reach out. Try to keep the hip up in line with the knee there. So what I mean by that is not dropping back here too much, but lifting up a little bit more. Good, so. Reaching out, that's it. Exhaling, dropping into that left hip, left shoulder, looking good. We're slowly pulling the left foot down, the left outer edge of that foot. Try and press the left outer edge down to the mat. And then gently pull those hands back. And you can then come back up into your tiger pose. Left leg back, that's it. Press through the hands, press through the right shin, and then maybe you catch that foot. Lift the gaze, lift the chest, and lift the corners of the mouth. Smile always helps. Nice and slowly release it down. Tucking the toes, coming back into a bent-legged downward facing dog, pressing the chest back towards the thighs. Start to pedal out here. Or releasing a heel at a time, checking in, noticing how that feels. Spreading fingers. I'm going to get a little bit more movement now as we come into our standing postures. Maybe you feel you like to lengthen the legs at this point. Nice deep exhale as you release the heels towards the back of the mat, pressing chest back towards thighs, lengthening crown of the head to the mat. Strong, straight arms. Lifting right leg up and back behind you, three-legged dog. So we're trying to keep the hips nice and stable and parallel here.
Pressing right shoulder down. Pressing chest back towards that left thigh. Nice and slowly we bring the knee through and we come into a crescent lunge. So that might be kneeling, that might be standing for you, so you can always drop that back knee. I'm going to come into a standing crescent lunge, bringing the arms up and then stretching through that back heel, back leg, trying to bring the shoulders back up in line with the hips. Bending into the front knee. Reaching fingers up. Again, feel the strength that you hold in the posture. The composure, the poise, you're not fighting it. And we move into our warrior two from here. So releasing the back heel and opening the chest to the side of the mat. Start to square yourself off and find the posture. Really holding, breathing, working with it, finding that intention through the pose. From here, straighten through the front leg. We're going to come into a Trikonasana, a triangle pose. Reaching out and long, give you ribcage the space it needs. Hand comes down to a block, to the ankle, to the shin or to the thigh. Open up. Barrel that chest once more to the sky. Maybe the gaze goes to the top fingers. Maybe it stays down to the floor. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Slowly bending into the right knee. We're going to transition into our Ardha Chandrasana. This is where you might need that block. Stepping forward, left hand comes to a left hip. Reaching right hand down, lifting back leg up. It doesn't have to go too high, but start to feel the focus of the balance. Maybe the fingers come down onto the mat or to the block, and then you can release that top hand. With control, bend the front knee. Let the left leg go back through warrior two. And then windmill the hands over as you turn on the back toes. Step it back into plank. Let's find a connecting vinyasa here. Maybe that's a chaturanga up dog. Maybe knees, chin, chest. Inhaling cobra. And exhaling back into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Deep inhales and exhales, settling us up, preparing for the other side. So I'm going to switch sides so I can still face you. Lifting up left leg this time, breathing it in, three-legged dog. Draw that left shoulder down. Inwardly rotate that left thigh. Release the right heel a little bit more. Press the chest back to the right thigh. Breathe in, bring the knee in towards the chest. Place the foot between the hands. And come into that kneeling or standing crescent lunge. Anjanasana. Dropping into it. Feeling strong, controlled. And always return back to the steadiness of your breath, the focus to your intention. Going to move into warrior two, Virabhadrasana, releasing the back heel, opening the chest and hips to the side of the mat, softening through the shoulders, softening through the facial expression, pulling navel to spine, looking along middle finger.
Working through the posture with your breath and your focus. Moving into Trikonasana, triangle pose, straightening, lengthening the front leg. Reaching out and exhaling as you fold. Opening the chest to the side of your mat, reaching fingers up and down. This is probably one of the more stronger postures in yoga. And then gently bending that front knee, taking the right hand to the right hip, moving into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, using a block, or the hand comes down to the mat, flexing or pointing the foot is optional. We are opening up that right hip to the side of the mat. We're barreling the rib cage to the sky. Maybe the hand goes up. Changing gaze will always challenge the posture. I'm a bit wobbly on this side. Ooh, with control. Drop it back into warrior two. Exhale. Windmill those hands. Frame the front foot as you turn on the back toes. Step it back into a high plank. Find your connecting vinyasa. Taking you back as you exhale into downward facing dog. And find a few breaths. Wonderful work. Navel to spine, chest pressing back to thighs, lengthening the arms. And gently exhaling, knees drop down to the mat. Active child's pose. Releasing hips back. Lengthening belly, lengthening fingers. Exhale. Pull the buttock cheeks back towards the heels. Pull the heels in towards one another. Lift up to lengthen a little bit more. Maybe those fingers walk their way further towards the front of the mat. And lift up into tabletop. Let's come to puppy pose. Turn around this way. So keep the hands out in front of you. Keep the hips above the knees. Start to melt the chest. Maybe the chin or the forehead come to the mat or to a block. We're going to lift and look forward, sliding onto the forearms. You can keep the knees down here, of course, in your kneeling forearm plank, lifting up the abdomen here. You might like to tuck the toes, check the strength in your forearm plank. Crown of the head reaches away, heels push back. 5 breaths. And then gently lowering the pubic bone. Maybe the toes stay tucked throughout. And you can release to the tops of the feet. Lifting up straight into Sphinx here. 5 breaths. Opening the chest. Relaxing shoulders away from the ears, pushing through the forearms, pressing into the tops of the feet. Those legs are active and engaged.
And nice and slowly widen the elbows, roll it down, bring the big toes to touch, and just gently sway out the hips into your prone posture. Hello. Hello. Okay, from our prone position then, we start to move into a dancing seal. You can widen the feet to the outer edges of the mat, but try not to let the heels roll inwards rather than, flatten out the pelvis here. Hands go to the wider edges and press up. Drop into the hips. Hello. And then start to circle. Chest down, chest around, and coming up. Chest down, around and up. The gaze may follow, so the gaze may look back towards the heels. And that's a good little check to see if they're rolling inwards. And then once we've done 5, we go the other way. Really try and get the movement through the rib cage, through the sides of the body, through the lower back. Nice. We inhale to lift and we exhale to lower. And we take our 5. Bring the big toes to touch, head to the hands, exhale, soften, relax everything, sway out the hips. Last posture in our prone section is our locust. We sweep the hands back, we interlace the fingers, and we press the knuckles towards the heels, lifting up the upper body. Squeeze the shoulder blades together here. Squeeze the forearms together. Press into the shins and the tops of the feet. Keep lifting. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the cheek down. Woo! It's been a while since I've done that one. Roll out the lower back. Hands are by the hips. And let's press ourselves back through tabletop. Let's throw in a connecting vinyasa before we come to our reclined postures, tucking the toes, lifting up into your downward facing dog. Ripple that all the way forward into your plank. Find a connecting vinyasa of choice. Last little bit of energy. Exhale, down dog. Check in, see how you feel. Notice muscles that haven't worked for a while. Notice postures that might have become a little bit more challenging. And let's drop the knees. Roll down through child's pose, but we're going to simply roll straight back up through the spine, hands to the knees. Come all the way to kneeling. Roll the shoulders back and down. And just take a pause. Reflect on the practice so far. We're going to move into our last and final section of reclined postures. So make yourself warm. Popping on clothes if you need to. Coming to our back, drawing the knees in towards the chest. So you might like to keep the knees together, you might like to keep them a little bit apart, that's okay. If the hands are on top of the shins, just gently pull the knees towards the shoulders. Spread the shoulders out underneath you, lengthen the spine, pulling the tailbone downwards.
Real deep inhales and exhales here. And then let's go to dead bug. Lengthening arms and legs up towards the sky. Try to keep the heels in line with the hips. Try not to bring them too far this way or too far this way. If you're struggling because of the hamstrings, bend the knees. I'd rather you drop the thighs in towards the chest like this than struggle with straight legs. Reach the fingertips up, but pull the shoulder blades down. Close the eyes. Have that internal drishti here of gazing up towards the toes and beyond. And just notice if you've taken any tension into the face of the neck here. It's quite often that we lift the chin. So lengthen the neck. Feel that apple, that invisible apple between the chin and the chest. Feel the heaviness dropping down through the arms into the shoulders, the heaviness through the legs into the hips. And then starting to flex into the wrists and the feet as if we were supporting someone in acro yoga. We're going to push the palms away, push the feet away. And then point the feet, stretch into the tops of the arches and bring those fingertips towards the forearms, stretching into the tops of the wrists. And then let's do that a little bit quicker. So we flex and point. And then rotate ankles and wrists together. And we give them a shake. Shake the feet, shake the ankles, shake the hands, shake the arms, shake the legs. Shake, 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 shake. Keep shaking. Shake the shoulders, shake the hips. And then let's pull it into happy baby. Hands go to the outer edges of the feet, the calves or the thighs. Pulling knees downwards, keep lengthening that tailbone long. Soles of the feet face up towards the sky. Thighs are nice and wide. Noticing the breath most likely will be in the abdomen here. You'll feel the belly rising and falling. It's a real nice deep expansion on that inhale, and then gently release the hands, release the heels, and just squeeze those knees in towards you. Give the outer knees a press. Place the soles of the feet down, hip width apart. And then drop into the belly, drop into the spine, spread the waist, spread the shoulders. Arms come out to the side of you, maybe straight, maybe bent. And just gently drop the knees over to the right hand side. And maybe take the gaze to the left hand. Softening into this reclined twist, letting that left top leg become heavier. Notice if you're gripping anywhere in the glutes. Let that go. Breathe in,
Bring knees and head back into center. If you need to realign, of course, go ahead, do that. Exhale, drop the knees over to the left, and the head might look towards the right palm. Exhaling to deepen and soften here. This is our last posture before we move into Shavasana. So as you breathe the knees and the head back into the center, just take a moment to drop into constructive rest, to pause and reflect once more on your practice. Maybe bring the hands to the belly and the heart, returning back to a steady and even, equal flowing breath. Check in with yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. What came up for you today? What were you most grateful for in the practice? What was a challenge? What did you enjoy? All of those questions are yours, and the answers are too. Heel toe the feet back into parallel, draw the knees in towards the chest, squeeze and then circle. Just give the lower back a little massage and circle the other way. Maybe you like to open the knees up to give the hips a little bit more mobility, checking in with the flexibility there. And then let us come into final relaxation in Shavasana, sending the legs long. Take them to the wider edges of your mat. Let the toes fall out to the sides, gently softening around the thighs, the knees. If you need to, placing a bolster underneath the knees. Spreading the waist, the back, the shoulders, and then the arms can come out to the side of you. Just a little way away from the hips, palms are face up. And then just gently drop the chin over to the shoulder, give the neck a little stretch here. And to the other side. Exhaling as you do that. Bring it back into the center. Lift the head up away from the mat, keep the shoulders down, and draw the chin in towards the chest for a little back stretch there. Looking along the body, pulling navel to spine. And then exhale, roll it back. Keep the neck long. And then as you come back, settle back in. Give yourself a little rock and roll in the hips. That continues to the legs, to the feet. And then find stillness. So taking a few moments to just settle into your breathing rhythm and how you feel as you now lie down on your back, giving all of your weight into the earth, letting the muscles relax and soften. There's no contraction, no engagement needed. Letting the bones become heavier. Letting the skin relax. And being as still and as calm as you can possibly be in mind and body for the next few moments of silence. As I let you enjoy your Shavasana, I will let you know when it's time to come back around.
Begin to take a few deeper breaths as you bring your awareness back into your surroundings, onto the mat and back into the body by bringing soft and gentle movement to the hands and to the feet. Breathing in, lifting the arms up above the head, bringing the feet together, big body stretch. Big yawn through the face, open the mouth. And then as you exhale, draw the knees in. Roll and massage out through the spine. Take your time. No rush to get back up to seated. Roll over to one side and gently bring yourself back up to where we began. Maybe the eyes are still closed. Maybe they're open, taking a soft gaze, bringing the hands into the heart center. Anjali Mudra. Take a deep breath in. Deep, long breath out. Exhale into the earth. Gratitude and thanks to your body, to your breath, and to your focus for practice today. Returning back to your intention that you can take into the rest of your day. And I thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.